Why is it the truth stranger than fiction? Why is it not on the cover of Time magazine of this accomplishment? Why is it not headlines the way my incident on Grey's Anatomy went around the world in 65 languages? Why? Shh. Like Harriet Tubman said, it's all right. I know why. I use my own resources and my time and my energy, not because I was just trying to be a big guy. I did it because on August 3rd, 1963, when I was near death, and my mom was so angry at my father that she said, Isaiah, if you are not at that hospital when this child is born, I will not bring him into this world. She meant that. Our water broke. My father, biological father, was not there. He was in some juke joint, somewhere, catting around. So my mother was serious. She was young, 21, insecure, and angry. So she wanted to prove a point and send a message. I'm not letting this boy out of my body until you get here. So the water broke, and for hours, the story goes, they struggled to get me out of my mom. And by the time she was worn out, physically, I was born. But I was still born. Shriveled up like a prune, black as this jacket I have on, and apparently the life that I had in me gave me the appearance, and my ears were so black it looked like they were burned. I had a white face, and my fingers were all white, like gloves. So when they brought me home, my sister of 5 years looked at me and said, wow, he looks like Mickey Mouse. So, as you will see in the book, that's my nickname. And there's no coincidence that my biggest hero as I was growing up was watching Mickey Leland in Houston. And all the pictures of this bearded man in his safari clothes holding these African children. Somehow I knew I was going to do that. Didn't know how, but I knew that was really, really cool. And then I ended up working for Disney, Mickey Mouse himself. It's an interesting chapter in the book where after all that silly season went down, I found out that Disney, Walt Disney is probably next to Rockefeller, one of the biggest collectors of African artifacts in the world. And I was at the newly opened Smithsonian for African Art, looking at this wonderful exhibit of all these artifacts from Sierra Leone, from Liberia, from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, like 6,000 pieces, man. Most extraordinary masks and artifacts I ever want to see in my black life. And every single piece said owned by Disney. So I'm in there by myself. Shortly after I make my exit, I'm thinking, come on, I go to another place, owned by Disney, owned by Disney. So I'm thinking, all right, Ashton Kutcher, where you at? You know, I gotta be being bummed. There's no way all these pieces from Sierra Leone, my native homeland, is owned by Disney. And I talk about it in the book. And I asked one of the security guys, and I was really stunned. I was like, man, what is all this? All these pieces owned by Disney, my former boss. What's that about? And he says, yeah, man, Mickey Mouse owns all this. And I said, what you say? He said, I said, yeah, Mickey Mouse, man, he owns all this. It all belongs to Mickey Mouse. And I said, oh, that's what I thought you said. I've been called Mickey Mouse my whole life. Y'all follow me? All right. That's what A Man from Another Land is about. I got that name. apparently when I was being inducted as a chief in Yande Manga, took a council before I got there because my last name, Washington, was also the middle name of her husband, Joseph Scott Washington Manga. I mean, Joseph Washington Scott Manga. So she thought it was ironic that maybe, just maybe, I may be a man from another land that will return to this land and help rebuild it and turn Ceylon, Sierra Leone, into the original form of when it was called the Athens of Africa. In fact, the British Protectorate, the Nova Scotians were all returned to Freetown first before Liberia was created. In fact, Buns Island was built off the coast of Sierra Leone to exclusively send slave labor to this place called North America only. Fact, no slave coming from the door of no return at Goree Island and Elmina Castle arrived on North American soil. They could not afford slaves until 1619. So from the 15th century and beyond, these slave laborers were going to the Caribbean and South America. Can I get an amen? All right, amen, Walls. Only Walls listen. Amen? Amen? There it is. So, in fact, there's about 95% of Mindi, Timni ancestry and Pele peoples walking around North America. And they were all channeled through Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina. And when I spoke on the Magnolia Plantation to reveal 5 slave cabins, everyone thought I was crazy. Why are you going down to a plantation talking about preserving slave cabins? And I said, because my people built them.
All right. Yeah.
And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, they didn't get paid for it. But all these cobblestone and all these bridges and all these landmarks, I'm just going to flip the tape in my head. I'll stop this thing called racial animus and anger. It's not getting us anywhere. We're moving nowhere being angry at the man. Because the man today may look like you.
Yes, sir.
I make a joke about my mentor, who I love, and don't get me wrong. And we're going to collaborate on a thing about DNA getting prisoners, juvenile delinquents tested since they're not going anywhere. We're going to get their DNA test, and whatever they learn about themselves, we can see if we can really initiate some real rehabilitation. This man is by the name of Henry Louis Skip Gates, Professor Gates, out of Harvard. So I tease him when he found out in his own African-American lives that he was 80% European. And just say, man, just told kiddos from Africa, but just pick a place, man. Put me in Africa. How can I be the baddest black man on the planet and not be from Africa? Right? You remember that? Did you see that? So when he got arrested in his house with this white man, I wanted to ask him, I said, Professor Gates, what were you thinking, man? Who got arrested? The 80% or the 20%? Because it was the 80% that forgot the 20% could get arrested. So there's something going on with this DNA thing. You know, and it's not just percentages, it's just who we really are. And I believe that whatever your skin color, whatever your hair is doing, just be you.
Yes, sir.
If you have Portuguese or German or French, embrace it. And go and try to get your citizenship in France and see what happens. If you got enough of it, it's a power in numbers. It's like, well, yeah, I'm from Portugal. We all marched to Portugal. Because in fact, Martin Luther King's paternal lineage is out of Portugal. You didn't get that when we revealed that in September at the African Policy Forum with the Leon A. Sullivan Foundation, because the media was too busy dogging out Reverend Eddie Long and his personal business.
Come on.
And I'm calling CNN, man, come on, we're telling where Marcus Garvey is from. His father's from Spain. He's a Moor. That don't make news, T.J. Holmes, Frederica Whitfield, Roland Martin. No, man, we got to go do this story. Eddie Long sleeping with some boys. What? That's news? That's old news. Martin Luther King's daddy is from Portugal, man. The history of the Portuguese. They named it Sierra Leone. He's an explorer. It makes sense. Let's talk about that. No. Dr. Julius Garvey, the son, his mother is Mindy. Coretta Scott King, maternal lineage. Reverend, Bernice King and Martin Luther King III, their mother. Okay, born April 27, 1927, which is exactly the Independence Day for Sierra Leone, April 27. I was just there to celebrate. That's no coincidence. Coretta Scott King is Mindy, out of Sierra Leone. That's no coincidence. Coretta Scott King, I heard from Andrew Young, threatened to leave the movement, and Martin Luther King, if he did not take the movement and support Kwame Nkrumah in 1955, when it looked like he was probably going to run for president and become president, 1957. That's a Mindy woman. Maya Angelou's Mindy. Whoopi Goldberg. Dr. Mae Jemison. Regina King is Timmy. Andrew Young is Mindy. So all of the warriors, all of the people are ancestors of that one man that turned Amistad around. You know him as Joseph Senke. We know him at home as Singbe Pae.